Hi, I'm Frank Williams, and welcome to SuccessToday.tv. As always, I'm joined by my very good friends, Tom Roman and Rich Goldberg. And guys, today, the topic we're going to discuss is stress. How do we cope with stress? What tips can we give our viewers? We face so many challenges in life, and today we're going to give our viewers a couple of ideas as to what they can do to overcome the challenges or the stress in their life. And Tom, I'll start with you. What is it you do, and what do you talk to your clients about as far as overcoming the challenges that they come against every day?
Yeah, I hear you, Frank, and it's a reality. You know, we live in a very fast-paced world now. A lot of things are happening. There's a lot going on. And it seems like every day you get in your inbox 10 more things or 20 more things you have to accomplish that day. So I'm with you. It's a very real thing for many people. And not to mention the additional stresses that you may face beyond work in terms of family, in terms of relationships, in terms of finances, these type of stresses that are very real. And one of the ways, for me, and I know we're all going to handle different kind of aspects of this today, but one of the main things that I usually tell clients is to help, and it goes back to the central theme about which I always speak, which is really goal setting and daily progressive realization of those goals. And what I mean by that is a goal is the direction you're going in. So A, you have to set your goals in the general direction you want to take your life, going in that direction, be very clear, very specific. But secondly, having a daily task list made every single day that's going to help you navigate through your day. And I'm not just talking a task list like, hey, go to the store, pick up the groceries, do that kind of stuff, or show up to work. Specifically what you want to accomplish that day, numbered from 1 to 70, if you have 70 things that day, whatever it is. Kind of strategically doing less per day, obviously, that always helps, but the idea of numbering them 1 to whatever, and staying on number 1, focus on number 1 until it's to its completion. And that right there, that alone is what, I tell you, helps you overcome a lot of stress. Simply organizing your day, simply having a structured task list every single day. Then, according to your goal, you know you're on track, you know you're getting it done. I find personally when I do that, the days that I do that, some days, no one's perfect. Some days you have meetings, you're out on the road, you're, in a trade show. Some days you don't have, say, your task list set up, you try to do it every day. You notice that those days are the ones that get away from you. Those are the days where you feel high stress. And I notice when I feel great in the day, feel very low stress, feel like I'm fulfilled, are the days when I plan and achieve my goals that day.
Very good.
So that's basically what I think is a good way to overcome stress.
Good. Rich?
Amazingly, I have a similar situation first thing in the morning in the sense that Thomas does. I like to have a to-do list. You remove the clutter from your desk, workplace, whatever, and you just plan your day. You're organized, and I also like to look in the paper, look for the joke of the day, maybe a quick internet item for some kind of inspirational message or a funny type of thing as well. Just at the start of the day, it gets you going, along with your double mocha latte grande. But I like to do a quick to-do list, see where you're at that particular day, what you want to accomplish, organize, focus, and just have a little quick time for a little humorism right off the bat.
Very good, guys. One of the things I do to release stress is exercise. As we all know, there are tremendous studies, or numerous studies, that show the benefits of exercise when it comes to relieving stress.
Mm-hmm.
What I would suggest also is, what you have to remember is stress starts from within. It's how you perceive a certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time you're under a stressful situation, take 5 to 10 seconds, look at the situation, and really figure out how it is you want to respond. Don't just jump off the handle right away. For example, how many times have we been in a supermarket and the person in front of us is fumbling through the purse or the pocketbook, or they're going to go check a price on an item? Okay, we're allowing that situation to affect us,
yes,
when really we shouldn't. So I find exercise and proper nutrition to be incredibly beneficial. But more important is how you perceive that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the situation and decide. Don't jump off the handle, like I said. Take 5 to 10 seconds and really figure out how are you really going to handle that. Because most of the time, it's meaningless, the stress. But we just have to, explode, or just to get that energy out or that stress out. Take 5 to 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, anything else?
I agree with you. And that brings me to the next point I was going to talk about, which was belief. You have to believe that, and a lot of times I face with business clients is cash flow. They face these cash flow struggles where every day they may have people that owe them money and they have bills due and they don't think it's going to match up. And one of the ideas, I mean, and I mean this in terms of stress, a lot of people, they think of the worst situations, like, oh my God, if I don't pay this bill or do this, I'm going to be in trouble, or I'll be kicked out of my home. And you got to think about your life traditionally or historically, right? The life you have. Have you ever, been homeless? And if you have, you're in somewhere now, maybe, right? You're not going to, be starving tomorrow. The idea that there is never a worm famine. You don't see birds dropping out of the sky. I mean, for real. It's like you just don't see it, and it's like the idea that you have to have belief that you will be provided for. And tomorrow's another day, but. That's one of the things that I really like to think about, is that there's a much longer plan, and on that plan we're doing our part. And today, all we can do is our best part today. And if you could look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day, and you could say to yourself, I did a great job today. And you know what? If today wasn't the best day you did, maybe you woke up late, or you were something surfaced where you had to give that attention that was not on your list of goals, and you had to deducted half of your day from your schedule or whatever. But these are the days that that's life. Those things happen. But tomorrow's another day. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Because that's why I really like Rich working with you and doing the speaking with you, because every time I speak to Rich, he reminds me of you have to incorporate that.
I increase your stress.
That's right. I have to talk to you. I'm like, no, for real. But Rich, and maybe we can talk about this a little bit too, is how you incorporate humor and how you help corporations and your clients, take a little lighter heart to things. That's really what I enjoy. How we joke around a lot, we have a good time, as well as get our work goals done. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Right. Again, in general, does anybody like to laugh? Anybody like to smile, have fun? If you do, then don't even watch the rest of this show. You don't belong here. But seriously, it just makes for a much better atmosphere. It's informal. It's relaxing. You bond with people, and you make friends. How many times you go on a hunting trip? It's not the elk you're going to bag down the road. It's all those hours you're out there in the woods with your buddies, or if you're the ladies and you're getting your hair done and you can hear under the big
hair dryer.
Hair dryer, that's it. A junior moment there for a second. Hair dryers, you're bonding, you're connecting, you're relating, and it's the quality of your relationships and friendships that really is the key to life. So that's what you want to do. If you can incorporate humor into it, so much the better. Keeps things light, keeps things moving along, the lightness, the levity, the gravity of the situation is minimized. So you forgot to bring bread home from ShopRite. Is it life or death? It's not a crisis. You can always go out again. Or you just have a cracker tonight. I mean, just put things into perspective, show the balance, and just take a time out. Do a mini time out. Count to 5, count to 10, count to 190 if you have road rage or whatever. It just doesn't pay. There are so many physiological and psychological benefits to include humor in your life on a daily basis, if not hourly, as opposed to stressing about this and that. By the time you get home, how many times have you gone and you see a PSE&G truck working on your street? So there's a detour, police activity, or any number of obstacles that you have to run the gauntlet on a given night just to get home. Things will move on. This too shall pass. Just take a step back and relax and have focus and discipline and concentration and just chill and just enjoy yourself.
Very good. We're all capable of overcoming stressful situations. The final decision on how you handle it is yours. Either you're going to allow it to defeat you mentally, physically, and emotionally, or you're going to come out with the courage and the strength to say, hey, I'm going to handle it the way it should be handled. I'm not going to let this situation affect me. And that's where the winner comes out, by really taking your time, looking at the situation and saying, okay, this is my game plan, and this is how I'm going to handle it.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. And then part of that internal game plan is, and I think it sounds kind of funny. A chapter of a book I wrote once said it was to think like Indiana was the chapter of the book. But the idea to turn your life from being like this, just mundane routine thing to thinking of life as an adventure. Is your life an adventure on a search for treasure, or on a search for whatever it is that you're searching for you personally? Those are your personal goals. What are the things that you search for? And you can see that detour, like you talked about, as this big stressful thing, and looking at your watch, and you're constantly on edge and on the nerves. Or you could say, hey, listen, this is an adventure. Maybe I'll see something new. Maybe I'll experience or meet someone new. And it's funny, this past weekend, I had a little bit of my own adventure. I was just, I had an event on Friday night, a black tie affair. I sat at a table and I met a variety of people, and I learned several brand new lessons, you know what I mean? And in terms of world peace, and in terms of the potential for it. And one of the things I learned, it sounds funny, was a person that talked on stage was a woman from Israel, and she worked in a group project with a gentleman from Palestine. In the beginning, they really couldn't even talk, and by the end, they were very good friends, hugging and kissing, really loved each other, and they actually had to go outside of their country to meet and just to get along. But to me, and one of the people at the table said, yeah, people in Israel love their children, and people in Palestine love their children, and they all want their future to be better than their past. And the idea was, that was a part of my adventure. I sat at the table and I'm like, wow, this is a part of the, and of course the people from both countries can love each other too. But I saw that and I'm like, wow, that was a cool adventure, and I was a little stressed myself, with finishing work, getting out on time. I hit some traffic on the road, and anyone that came from New Jersey that day, it was driving to Pennsylvania, hit the same traffic. But by the time we got there, it was the adventure. It was getting there. And I can't express that enough. Like, you really having that type of attitude, that type of mindset where, constantly being open to new things and believing that little detour or that little seeming, inconvenience is going to add that much more variety, that much more of an adventure to your life. Because it's like a saying, one of my good friends, my friend Ashton, says, he goes, if something didn't go wrong, it wouldn't be an adventure. You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? But that's what makes adventure, is like when something goes wrong, and that's the attitude on
how you handle it.
Yeah, how you see stress. Yeah, so it is the way it is, and that's one of the things that I really want to express to people, and in business too. It's funny because, you guys know, and I'm sure people watching know, I've been into my variety of business ventures over my life, and that's the real beauty. Like, I see every day as that adventure, and the phone rings, I don't know what to expect in the line, or, in that new meeting you're going to, you don't know what to expect, but it's the adventure, and that's the real thing that allows me to digest the stress, and be like, hey, listen, if something wasn't going wrong, or there wasn't any type of friction here, what would life be,
right.
And it's kind of like that, and that takes the need away from my life to go skydiving, or, driving a motorcycle, these type of things, because I have enough, of that type of unknown, or that type of adventure in my life just from what I do on a daily basis. So, and it gets into creation, which we'll talk about another time, but I can't express it enough. Like, when you have that detour, don't get stressed about it. Ask yourself, this is an adventure. If something didn't go wrong, it wouldn't be an adventure, So that's a big thing. So,
right. Very good.
Rich?
Again, just to expound upon earlier chatter, physiologically, you can have migraines, you can have very taut shoulder, which will be a chiropractor's dream, taut shoulder and neck, headaches, migraines, irritable bowel, ulcers. You can really do a number on yourself and become a mess when you worry too much. The worry generates anxiety and all consternation and a lot of the negative self-talk, which most of us have, at least to some degree during the day. It exacerbates it. Oh, wow. Where did that come from?
That's a good word.
Where did that come? This is a family show. And as a result of that, you become an emotional wreck. So you get yourself all unnerved and all wound up. And for what? A lot of times the things you're anticipating do not actually get realized. And as a result of that, you just got yourself bent out of shape for no reason, rhyme, or purpose. Mm-hmm. So again, detach, take a time out, do your inner workings, whatever works for you. You think a pleasant thought, you think you're in the Caribbean horseback riding on the beach, or whatever works for you, an old athletic event you saw or participated in. Could be anything, but whatever works for you. Replace your worry and anxiety with a positive thought, and it'll take you out of that zone that you placed yourself in erroneously.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Guys, as you know, I was recently invited to New York to speak to some of our servicemen and women.
That was awesome, yeah.
And I have to tell you, it was an incredible experience to be in the company of such wonderful men and women who have an unwavering love for this country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen.
one of the things I was asked to cover or talk about was stress. How do you cope with the transition from being in battle, from being in war, to the everyday doldrums of life? Now, when I'm under stress, that's one of the first things I think about. Mm-hmm. How a soldier comes from battle, from war, to the ordinary day, whole doldrums of life. So it was a fantastic experience, and they're just incredible men and women.
Yeah.
That should have been a very rewarding day for you.
It was. It was probably one of the most highlights of my my speaking career.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for those servicemen and women, we would not be able, or even have the freedom to
We
do what we
wouldn't
do.
do this show.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do
else.
this. Yeah, it's the truth, and thank God for those people that sacrifice their lives every day.
Right.
Man. Every day I say that. You're absolutely right.
Excellent.
And one of the things that Rich spoke about before, which I think is extremely important, is the concept of that inner voice inside of yourself. And we talked about this before, but again, getting back to the concept of the show, the concept is success. SuccessToday.tv is to really reinforce those daily basic disciplines that are going to bring you success in your life, that are going to, and it's like we say, champions, they embrace fundamentals. We've all heard that before. But like we talked about in the previous episodes, you're not going to see Derek Jeter doing push-ups at a game when he goes at the bat, but you're darn right he does them at practice. But those daily disciplines, and one of the things that is very important, instead of just simple things, and we discussed this in the past, don't have a critic inside. Don't have someone saying, if you do something that maybe wasn't the correct way to do it, or maybe it was a mistake you made, don't say to yourself, oh, you always do this kind of stuff, that kind of what I call like a critic inside of you. Instead say, hey, listen, you gave it a shot. Hey, good job. Let's address it like this. You coach yourself, you see? So you go from an inner victim to an inner victor, you see? And all of what's around you starts from within yourself. That's the first thing I want to say. And the second thing, which I think is ultra important in terms of stress, is the concept of gratitude. Now, I read a book recently. It was called The Traveler's Gift. And one of the things in the book was a chapter about gratitude. And they talked about the diary of Anne Frank, and how Anne Frank and her sister shared 3 dresses, right? And she had a choice to look and say, hey, listen, I only have 3 dresses. Oh my God, I only have 1 extra dress that I share with my sister. Or she could say, thank God I have an extra dress, and my sister and I, we can wash our other dress when we could wear this one. Thank God we're not, putting, a towel on if they even had one at the time, But the concept of, she was so grateful. She said, thank God I have this extra dress to share with my sister, and that I could actually have a clean one on at all times. And, and you hear these examples throughout time over and over again. Another example is Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. He was in a concentration camp, and he said the last thing that we have, the last control we have, is our attitude. And the concept is, in terms of stress, attitude plays a huge role in that. Your very attitude of how you see situations. Do you see it as an adventure, or do you see it as a problem? Do you see it as the detour, as something that, oh my God, I'm going to be late, or who knows who I'm going to meet on the way? Maybe, or what kind of idea is going to be inspired by something that I see? Maybe it's a cloud formation in the sky. Maybe it's the type of way the buildings are. But it depends on how you see it. That is the key to the game. The attitude with which you see it. So, that's one of the big things too, is gratitude in your daily life. Try to be grateful on a regular basis in order to decrease that amount of stress. I think it's a big part with me. When I start getting stressed, instead of getting really upset, I start thinking about all the things that I have to do for my health, my family, my friends, the loved ones in my life. The opportunities that I have to be, in a country where I can go out and make my ideas into reality. And to even, people complain a lot about the government. Without government, we'd have anarchy. And anarchy would be much worse than what you have. So regardless of the government in place, you still have the system to go out there and make it happen, to be the best you can be, and to go out there and succeed in any venue, any venture that you want. And that's the adventure of life. And if something doesn't try, you try something else. Something doesn't try, you try something else. And that really takes a lot of the stress away.
Very good. Rich, any final words before
Final words, a couple other things you could do. If you're not a naturally funny person or upbeat, hang around somebody who is, or a bunch of people that are. They'll have a tendency to keep you lighthearted and upbeat and keep an up-tempo kind of day. What do you like to do? You like to go to a comedy club? You can do that on the weekends. You can go to karaoke. You can, again, see cartoons. You can read a comic. You can see or do anything that's humorously related, and there's tons of things out there. Radio, TV, internet, friends, people, events. So keep yourself alert to things that will keep you in a good frame of mind. You'll be upbeat. You'll be positive. You want to keep a journal of funny things that happen to you. Funny thing happened on the way to the fruit market or whatever. And whatever happened, then you write it down. And then you can refer to it in the past and get a little chuckle or a grin or whatever. So do things that keep you in a mirthful, riddled with merriment type of mentality, and you should do well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have a few more, a couple other points too, according to what you just said, Rich. How many times, we have an old saying that, work hard and play hard, right? That old saying. But you notice a lot of people, when they go to work, they're not really working. They're on Facebook, like 20% of their time is actually productive time. That's why I really stress that to-do list and to really be focused on that. When you get to work, work. When you get to play, play. And don't confuse the two. That's the old saying. But you have to juxtapose. Yeah, thank you very much. That's what's great about having Rich around. Is that he helps correct my grammar. It's a grammar. That's right. That was good. It's very good. But you have to juxtapose the stress with leisure. And the idea is that many people don't plan their leisure. They, you'll say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? They'll be, oh, I don't know. And if you sat there and said, hey, on Saturday I want to go, and it doesn't have to be high budget things. You throw in a pair of sneakers, you get a map, you get a backpack, you throw some bottles of water in there, you go for a hike, you go look at some beautiful things. You're interested in sketching, get a sketchbook, go out there and sketch along the hike. You have a mountain bike, go for a mountain biking ride. These are low budget things that you can do. You don't have to go to the Caribbean. Go to the Jersey Shore if you're in Jersey. Go to the beach wherever you are, or a lake, or whatever it is. For us, it's about an hour. You want to go to the beach for a day. You don't need to rent a room and go overnight. Get up in the morning. My uncle says this. Get up at 6. Be there by 9. Get up at 6. Have breakfast. Be there by 9 o'clock. Hang out for the day. Leave at 3 or 4 when the sun starts going. Or if you want to stay and watch the sunset, watch the sunset. And again, the beauty of life. There's so many things out there that are beautiful. How many times do you hear people say, if you ask the audience, how many people would like to see a sunrise or a sunset? The majority of people are going to raise their hand, right? We've done it before. The reality is every day there's a sunrise. Every day there's a sunset. The idea is, and that's one of the things that I like to do now, is I really work during the week. And I used to work a lot of weekends. You guys know me. People that know me know that. I used to be like, what are you doing on a weekend? I'd be working. And what I found was on Monday morning, I didn't want to get up. I was like ready to have a break. I would be exhausted from just constantly working. Now I put in a good work day. Some days are, 8 to 10 hours, some days are 14, some days are 6, if I have meetings, depends on the day. But on a weekend, now I really plan it. Like for this weekend, I had an event on Friday night, a beautiful black tie affair. Saturday, went to Great Adventure. Yesterday, went to the beach all day. It was a beautiful, fun weekend. But this morning, I was at my desk first thing in the morning, really cranking, got my to-do list done, and now we're here doing the show. And it's like, to me, these are the ways that you overcome the stress. You have to juxtapose it. Juxtapose. Thank you very much. Yeah. My wordsmithing is like great today, right? But juxtapose the work with the balance, the play. And also incorporate, like Frank always says, which is he's a great role model for all of us, is to really get your nutrition and your exercise to a point where your body's able to manage that stress. So those are some of the, those are just ballpark, broad strokes things. And if you have any more questions, obviously you can email us at info@successtoday.tv. We'd be happy to answer them. And if you want any in-personal coaching, you can contact us at the About link above. So, Frank?
Excellent, guys. We're being told we have to wrap it up. It was a great topic. Any final words? We're being told, again, we have to go. So, on behalf of Tom, Rich, I'm Frank. And remember, believe in your dreams, but more importantly, believe in yourself, because that's where dreams begin. We'll see you next time.